Hey all, it's Saturday, January 16th. It's Matt here. As you can see, as you can see by what's on the screen, it's been a rough start to the year. But honestly, I feel pretty good about where I'm at right now. As weird as that sounds, I mean, I'm down almost 300 here gross. Start of the year, first 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks since I did a video, I think. So I'm not going to go trade by trade for this one. I'll touch on two of the big losses and just kind of talk about what happened there and how I feel about them. And then I'll kind of show my trades that I've taken screenshots of real quick, the other ones, but I'm not going to talk about in depth about any of them for any reason. I don't know that the rest of that would be helpful, but yeah, you can see. Go to this page real quick. When your average winner is $21 and your average loser is 80, and you're just above 50%, that's not gonna that's not gonna result in anything good. But I'm sizing up a bit here, as I've been saying that I've needed to, and when you size up and then you take a couple trades on the chin, which is always going to happen. You have some weeks where things go your way, and some weeks where things are a little harder to trade. And these couple trades that I took, partially because they were easy to borrow, which again, that's one of the restrictions with the CMEG account right now. But that I'm having to trade things that are easy to borrow rather than having the ability to locate and borrow shares on other stocks. But anyway, I'm limited to what I can play, and some of the plays just didn't work out, so that's okay. But when you're sizing up, it makes it look like big losses compared to what you're used to. So anyway, let's take a look. So early, I guess actually late last year, I was kind of starting to look at Apple and looking at the way it trades and thinking maybe I want to start dabbling in that. And I tried it a couple times here at the beginning of the year and realized it's just not worth it. I was thinking maybe that some of the rules that I was applying, it was going to abide by, which it's okay, but it ends up for some of it to resolve it, you have to wait until much later in the day than I'm able to trade right now. So you can see, I mean, this one was past 11 market time, which for me is already getting late. And for me to wait until this really became profitable down here, it was even longer. So, but you can see there's a couple Apple trades here. This one was a mess that I took a loss on, but then there's a few here. TATT, I think that ended up being a small winner. You can see the classic stop out at the top there. But then getting it back, being able to cover the rest down here and then hit these peaks here and finally cover here. It should be an interesting one to. Is it going to be on this page or the last one? Yeah, so all of that work ended up being worth 32 bucks. But anyway, decent trading. Can zoom in there for you guys. Can't see it. FTFT, this was an after hours trade that just didn't, I was playing a bounce here and it just didn't work. It was very small size. NCTY, same thing. It was not same thing. It wasn't after hours. It was during market hours. But we were looking for a bounce here off this flush, and got in a little high actually, and then just realized that this thing didn't have any momentum left. We were looking for something to pull back and then slingshot higher. It didn't have it that day. Tesla, nice little scalp there. Again, kind of looking for it to wash and bounce. Obviously, looking back, could have held this for a lot longer and done well that day, but that's not the play we were looking for. Just a scalp here. Okay, XNet, this is one of the big losses that I took last Thursday, I think it was. So you can see there was a pre-market high here at around 477. and then there were some pivots above that. So I got short above pre-market high, and then stopped out here some. Again, kind of stopping out at the top. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm doing there. My guess is I was stopping out here thinking we would get a push to this pivot and I get to add, but that didn't happen for a long time. So um, I have to get better at stopping out at the appropriate time. Maybe on this leg it would have been a good stop out and then re-add up here. Anyway, it ended up being a loser. I wasn't willing to sit with this. Um, yeah, it was far above pre-market high at that point, and I don't like to be short that far up into it. So it took a pretty big hit on that one, but again, had pretty good size, I think, compared to what I had been trading. CCIV got some good shorts here. It was very choppy, but you know I was taking profit when I needed to, and getting back in when I needed to, and then yeah, I mean, could have, again, in hindsight, could have held that last bit there for a while, but let's see. GME took a nice little. This is one of those little bounce plays. It was actually took longer to bounce than I thought it was going to. I figured we'd just get this pop off the 9 and it would rock it up, but you can see it took a few minutes, took 10 minutes or so before it made a new high of day. CEMI. Oh, this one was a. You'll see in a second the trade that I was actually. This is just the other day. I was trading OBSV. No, it was DTSS. Sorry, it was the day I was trading DTSS. This was actually a big loss. But I was trading CMI at the same time, and I got short here at this pivot, and then was so concentrated on the other one that when this stuff was happening, I wasn't really looking at CMI, and I told myself I'm not going to go in more there, because if I get in higher size here and then it starts to climb back up, now I've got 2 headaches on my hands. And so rather than, had this been the only thing I was trading, I would have started to get more short through here as this looked like it was confirming backside. But I just kind of let it ride. You can see I just let it ride to the end of the day here. I was working at this point and still watching it, so don't tell my boss. But yeah, this could have been a much nicer trade had I been able to pay more attention to it here in the morning. But unfortunately, I was stuck in this mess, DTSS, which in hindsight, the first couple entries were way too early. This was a good entry here, right around pre-market high. But even then, it shot up on me. I was willing to take it to this pivot. Then you can see stopped out up here again near high of day. Really, when I saw this happen, I should have gotten short here again. But was able to get it here once it confirmed around that pivot again, and then took some profit down here. And I think honestly at this point I was just frustrated and just wanted to get the hell away from the screen. We can actually go look at the journal real quick for this. Because this one is worth looking back on. So you can see the CEMI was a very small trade. This was a big loss. And you can see the pointing out the mistakes here. The second entry was too low. Not taking some risk, and then not getting the final add up at the top there. So yeah, so what I was saying is this second entry is too low. I should have been more patient and waited for this. Not taking some profit here as it was holding this 390 level, which keep that in mind because that's going to come back on the next trade as well. And then also not getting these the re-adds up here when I saw this happening. It's one of these things where I'm not trusting myself yet because I see this stuff happening and I think, oh, yeah, this is a good area to get short, but I don't quite trust my instinct yet. Possibly because maybe half the time my instinct is wrong, but this time it happened to be right, and that would have been a good add. So this ended up being like I said, a big loss. Let's see. Yeah, I thought I said more about why I took it off when I did, but I think I just wanted to get the hell to the gym or to go somewhere. Oh, I didn't even go to the gym that day. That was the day I went to take my dog for a walk. Anyway, and so then yesterday we had OBSV, which was another loss, uh, but ended up only being down, yeah, like $50. So not terrible, but again, I was in big size at some points for what I've been trading. Anyway, I got a short position here off the start, off this little pre-market pivot here. Took some profit on the way down, and then again, a little too aggressive here, thinking maybe right around this level was going to get some resistance, but obviously did not. So stopped out some on the way up, re-added up here at this pivot. This is off the daily chart. I was willing to take it to this level. Took some profit again, re-added a little lower, but that was a small size. Re-added again, and then man, this looked good, right? Like I was sitting pretty around here. Down in this area, I was in the 350s. I was up like 100 unrealized. So, and I was down. I took this cut up on the way up here, but so I was down a little bit unrealized or realized, but I was up big unrealized. Like I could have just taken it all off here. But I was really thinking we were going to get a low of day fade here. I thought this thing was done, but they had other plans. So you can see it ran back up here. Tried to get short here off what looked like some stalling. Rode it through here. Took some profit once it held this 370 area. And I honestly should have taken the whole thing off here. There was this game here around the 365 to 370 area. This is another one of those, like, I should have trusted my instincts here. And there was this weird thing that happened. If you guys, any of you guys have replay, I don't have my screen recorded while I'm trading, but on the level 2, if you watch through here, there's this weird thing where it flickers back and forth very quickly between 369 and 370 on the bid. I mean, it was like a crazy, it almost looked like a glitch. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, I should probably get out of this trade right now because it was obviously being manipulated, rigged somehow. I mean, there were a bunch of what I can imagine were probably computers playing games with each other here. And when I saw that little flicker, I should have just gotten the hell out. But then there's that part of me that's thinking, no, this is the part where it's going to break down and head toward low of day, right? And so I'm holding on. So it was like I should have at least sized down quite a bit more than I did here. Because you can see then it ran back up. I got short, stopped out here at the top. Again, I got to stop doing that. But at this point, it's, well, look, it was a stop hunt, and I was one of the weak hands. Right, that's exactly what happened here. Is they ran a stop hunt above this. Really, my stop should have been more up in the 445, 450 area. I stopped out on the pop rather than the grind that would or could happen after the pop. So that was frustrating, and then ended up just taking the rest off here so I could just get out of here because it was a lot of mental capital, a lot of eye strain at that point. That's partially why I want to keep this video short because I want to let my eyes rest this weekend. I don't want to be looking at screens. So sorry, I got a text message there. So yeah, anyway, this ended up not being a terrible loss, though. I did do a good job of managing it, despite the mistakes that I made. So again, not feeling terrible about it. And I guess did I not take a screenshot of my other trade yesterday? I guess not. I had a winner on VHC. I know I took a screenshot of that. I remember saving it. Oh, there it is. And for some reason just didn't open it. So there was a quick, this VHC popped up and then halted here. And there was a daily pivot here. And so basically I just waited for it to pop up. And then when it looked weak, shorted it around 6. Took some off in the 580s just for a quick profit take. And then something down here in 560. It was a small size on this one because this was late in the day. I should have been gone at this point, to be honest with you. But there's another one here that I didn't open for some reason. CMRX. It's like a nice little short trade. I don't know. I don't remember that one. It was on the 8th. Yeah. Anyway. So that's where I'm at right now, guys. I really, honestly, part of me is, yeah, I'm a little frustrated, obviously, that the trades didn't, some of those trades didn't go my way, and I didn't manage them quite as well as I would have liked. But honestly, I was holding some pretty big size at some points, which is something that I have to just get used to. And if I have to take a couple of, this sounds terrible, but if I take a couple of losses while I'm getting used to holding big size, there's really no better way to get used to holding big size, right? Is to size up and have one go against you and just have to sit there and get comfortable with big red P&L numbers, especially unrealized numbers, and just learn how to be okay with it, right? And then also learn how to, with the bigger size, what the profits look like, and when to take those off the table. But this has always been the case for me. Like if you look back, even before I had the CMEG account, I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you guys the P&L curves from way back then, actually, because it only goes back 90 days. Oh, I could just do it this way. It's done. Here, this is what I meant to do. Like you can always see, this is when I was trading. I was long biased, and I was trading my Thinkorswim account. You can see I would get like, okay, I'm doing well. I got some consistency, and I just picked a random date here, so I don't know what this actually is supposed to look like, right? But it's like, okay, I'm getting some consistency, and then I would size up, and I would take a big loss, and then I'd be like, all right, but now I'm with bigger size, so I'm used to that, and I can consistency, size up again, big loss. Like this is literally for months how my trading went. Is like every time I sized up, I would take a big loss, and it would hurt while it happened, and then I'd be like, okay, well that's, like that's really not that bad. I guess I can handle this. Like I lost $20, so what? And then I would slowly use that bigger size and grind my way back with consistency. And so it's the fact that that January looks the way it does. Even though it's wiping out a good chunk of what things look like in December, I'm sure. Right, like December was pretty good, and then January. Again, if I'm sizing up and I'm getting comfortable with that, this should now this coming week just take off and go up and to the right. So anyway, I'm happy with CMEG right now, except for the locate thing. The cost to locate shares is just stupid and ridiculous. But the saving up money for what I'll call an onshore account, a US based account where I can actually locate shares on some of the better plays. Actually, I heard something the other day. Somebody said, remember, ETB is not ETT. Which means easy to borrow does not mean easy to trade. In fact, many times when a stock is made easy to borrow, it's for a reason. It's because they want people to start shorting it so that they can trap them and run their stops uh, and play games. And so, me having to only be short bias with easy to borrow stocks is a bit handcuffing right now. So it would be nice to just get some of those easy fades. But anywho, I'm rambling now, and I'm going to shut this video down. But CMEG, other than that, other than the borrow fees, the DAS platform is good, and now that I've got the better commission structure for the past couple months here, I don't have any complaints really. I just wish I could borrow more easily, less costly, because that would make them a broker worth sticking with until I could grow the account to a point. Sorry about that. My dog's pissed at somebody. Anyway, that would make CMEG worth sticking with longer, but the cost to locate is just ridiculous. I don't understand why they have to do that, but they do. Anyway, all right, guys, that's it. I'll see you next time.